Слышал ли ты о нем?
Нет, ничего не слышал.
My cousin from St. Petersburg wrote me that they've learned to waltz and perform it at the balls. These fashionable people will surely come to the capital now to perform this, waltz. Yes, waltz. This is the culmination of any ball from the 19th century. The nobles learned the dance ahead of festivities marking the anniversary of the State Historical Museum. In February 1872, Emperor Alexander II emancipated not only the serfs, but also history itself. A grand construction began on Red Square. The museum building itself is the biggest exhibit. It is a unique case where the building was originally designed to house the exhibition of our natural history. You can see copies of frescoes, which you won't see in a place like Italy. You can see what Sofia looked like, although it's only a model, but easily accessible.
Можно увидеть, как выглядит София изнутри, пусть это модель. Но тем не менее, здесь это доступно.
For example, this hall is an imitation of an ancient tomb. The walls are covered in frescoes from the burial chambers. The painting depicts the life of the deceased. At the center of the hall is the main exhibit, the coffin. This is a Greek sarcophagus from the 4th century BC. It's made from marble and has a unique history. It was being kept in Crimea. During the Second World War, the German occupation forces decided to take it. However, they failed to move it, so they decided to destroy it. They placed explosive inside, but damaged only the upper part. The lid exploded into 1,500 little pieces. It took 10 years to put them back together. That length of time is merely a moment compared to the exhibits around here. Some of them date back millennia. The exhibition covers human history from the Stone Age to the early 20th century. A mammoth's tusk is only a hand's reach away from an image of the last Russian emperor. Every era has a physical presence here.
Российского императора рукой подать, и каждой эпохи есть свое вещественное доказательство.
For example, a Sungiri camp with several burial sites like this one was found on the territory of the Vladimir region in the 20th century. They were buried in lavishly decorated robes with ornaments from mammoth bone. These are the early roots of prehistoric society. Later on, the population grew and the ancient people moved to new lands. The transition from antique to the Middle Ages begins. The Slavs always chose to settle near water. It is a source of food, of course. The rivers and lakes were full of fish. The river was also a shield. Even Moscow city itself was founded on the banks of the Moscow River. Around 5 million unique exhibits and 3 times as many documentary materials. The regular exhibition cannot accommodate even a tenth of these items. This exhibition represents the civilizations that populated 1/6 of the Earth's landmass, including Russia and several neighboring countries that are today independent. You can see a lot more here than at the museums in those countries. At first glance, these are all simple things. For example, a feather pen. But when you take a closer look, you discover that this is the very pen used to sign the protocol that was emancipating the serfs. Then, and only then, do you begin to understand the historical value of this artifact.
Который принимает решение об освобождении крестьянства, понимает, что ту значимость, которую этот небольшой экспонат имеет для нашей страны.
The crown of the patriarch, the sword of victory, the throne of Pavel I. These items still bear the handprints of people who shaped Russian history. This is an old painting of the wedding ceremony between False Dmitry and Marina Mnishek after her arrival in Moscow. These paintings were brought back from Poland by Alexander III and gifted to the Historical Museum as exhibits for its first collection. You can clearly see the expressions of guests at the wedding and the details and decorations of the paintings. The artist himself was probably present at the event. It's not surprising that the first exhibits were paintings. The museum was originally planned to display fine art. Later on, it also started showing archaeological discoveries and items from personal collections. Swords, daggers, and also vessels. Vessels like jugs that people used to drink from. Also, there's chainmail, armor that was used to protect people from being eaten and beaten, as well as many other things here.
Или не проглотил. И еще много-много чего.
Например, кольчуги.
Chainmail and so-called baidanas, armor made from large rings. Boris Godunov used to wear one. The museum allowed its visitors to try on some of the exhibits for the anniversary.
Могли и посетители.
It doesn't really restrict you, it actually makes you more agile. But you would have to be very strong to be able to fight in armor like this.
Это надо быть достаточно сильным человеком.
Свой день рождения.
The museum opened its doors to everyone for its anniversary. Crowds of Moscovites and other guests flooded the halls to touch history. The history they have never seen and the history that they have.
К той, которую все же застали.
I started school in 1961. During the first 4 classes, we used to write with feather pens. We had special lessons where we taught how to write with them, how to apply the pressure properly, and so on. It was all a tricky process.
И вот у нас даже был такой предмет, назывался чистописание.
Теперь каллиграфия уже...
Calligraphy is already history. The school students of today barely know how to use a feather pen.
чернилами не сможет.
Измазаться.
Да, потому что чернила...
Make sure not to smudge it. The ink takes time to dry. You need to keep your hands suspended to make sure you don't smudge it.
Ты не смазал ничего, да? Ну, интересно.
Do you like it? Yes, I do, but it's difficult. Does it take longer to write? Yes, it does. The museum has seen more than 1 million visitors in the last year alone, including Russians and people from across the globe.
Но и иностранцы.
It's my first time here, so I just came to see the ancient culture of Russia. I'm a little bit lost because all of the information is in Russian. I don't speak Russian, but I'm trying to guess. But I'm surprised. There are a lot of features that very impressive. I mean, similar to the New York. I was living in New York before, similar to the New York Historical Museum. So it's very nice.
И неудивительно.
And that is not surprising. The history of peoples is interlinked, especially after Peter the Great opened a window to Europe. Foreign wonders of all sorts of craft entered Russia, including various calibers of weapons.
И вместе с тем разнообразие, разнокалиберность орудий.
В середине вот бронзовое орудие.
The bronze gun in the middle was made in the 17th century. Cast iron and bronze were the main materials used to make weapons. There were also ones made of iron. This variety was due to local specifics, because it was simpler to make weapons from iron in some places and from bronze in others. So that is why they're different.
Вот поэтому пушки разного образца.
В свой праздник
The historical museum was joined by St. Basil's Cathedral, the halls of Romanov Boyars, and the 1812 Patriotic War Museum, with open doors for the anniversary. 147 years is a solid date, but not the biggest one. The staff at the Historical Museum are certain that this home of history will mark many an anniversary to come. Anastasia Shkitina, Ovanes Avetisian, TV Bricks.